Hey guys, Alex here. I know I'm supposed to have a vlog for you today, but because of PAX and because of a cool secret that's gonna happen next week, we've kind of just got our schedule a little bit mixed up, but I didn't want to leave you with nothing. So here is this week's episode of the podcast for your listening enjoyment. It's all about April Fool's Day and dragons. And if you're not a subscriber, you could subscribe to the podcast in the link below. It's iTunes only right now, but I've been going back and forth in emails with Libsyn, the people who host my podcast, and they've been trying to work to get this Android app, so the ball is totally in their court. I am working on it, but in the meantime, enjoy this one, or you can follow the link and listen to them all online. So yeah, just check it out, listen and enjoy. See you guys later. Gentlemen, welcome to the 11th ever episode of the Dex Podcast. I'm Alex.
I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Pokekills.
How's everybody doing?
Doing it well.
Doing great.
Good.
You ask that every time.
I just want to make sure everybody's fine.
I mean, it's a great thing to ask.
Yeah.
Just a nice, friendly opener.
It's a friendly opener. Everybody's here.
All right.
What are you up to?
I'll back down.
What are you up to over there?
Oh, I'm doing some Pokebank stuff right now. Nothing
Cool.
new. Nothing crazy.
Great. This is the only podcast out there where we play Pokemon while we podcast. But
No big deal. Just catching them all.
yeah, no big deal. MBD, Key, JCEAA.
Okay.
That's horrible. What do you say? We jump on into the news because there's a whole bunch of it.
Oh yeah.
Sounds good.
Lots of news.
Speaking of which, still haven't received a single bumper or sound clip from anyone. So send those along to the dexcast@gmail.com, or else I'm gonna have to revert to those horrible Pikachu ones again.
Come on, where are the audio files at?
Yeah, get them going.
Did you hear that pun though?
Yeah,
Audio files as in PHILES.
I got
Audio
it.
files as in files that are audio.
Yeah.
I'll shut up now.
Very
Pokemon National
clever.
Championships are happening really soon. We just got the email for that today. Over 30 countries are participating,
Nice.
and the national winners secure a spot for the 2014 Pokemon World Championships, and these are championships for both the X and Y battle scene and the TCG.
Yep.
So there's going to be,
real big.
6 or 5 different championships. There's going to be one in Germany on May 3rd. There's going to be one in the UK in Manchester on 24th and 25th. In Italy, in Milan on May 31st and June 1st. In Canada, in Ontario, in June 28th, and in July, from 4th of July to the 6th of July in Indianapolis, Indiana for the United States.
Right. And those are for the nationals specifically.
Yeah, that is so romantic that they're in all those cool cities and stuff.
That's awesome.
This is the
Yeah.
big time.
And the World Championships this year is a single event, and that takes place in Washington, D.C. at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center.
Yes.
And that's in August from the 16th to the 17th, and that's going to be a lot of like fun like giveaways and stuff are
Yeah,
going to be going on around then.
Yeah, apparently there's supposed to be like a lot of like unique, like only available there Pokemon swag and stuff.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's always what happens. They always like. Usually there's like a giveaway. I remember one year there was like this cool Crobat with like moves that he can't normally learn and stuff
yeah.
like that. And I really hope that that's not like the only way I can ever get like a hidden ability.
Oh, gosh.
Like
Trico.
Snivy. Yeah. Trico. Yeah, one of those. That'd be such a bummer.
I think they did. I don't know if this was a World Championships thing. I think they did a Bannet with Cotton Guard one year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
'Cause-
gnar.
Yeah, you can because you can have one on Showdown, but obviously like
Think about that now.
yeah, Cotton
Mega
Guard
Bannet.
Bannet. Just
Mega
like, oh,
Bannet
you're
with
sending out a
Cotton
physical
Guard?
attacker. Let me just boost my defense by
Three
three
stages.
stages real quick. Hang
Goodbye,
on.
man. Later, man. Also, some more details have been rolling out about the Lumio City stage on Smash Bros. 3DS.
Yeah.
And those details are to paraphrase, the fight takes place in multiple locations around the tower. So I think that we were right in thinking that it was like one of those sort of like tour
Moving
Yeah,
stages.
tour levels.
So
Yeah.
it seems to be centered around the Prism Tower, though.
Yeah.
Which is the gym where you fight Brainiac kid. I don't know. Whatever
His name is
Clement.
Clement, yeah.
Electric Face.
Clement.
There's
Laser
only like solid screens of it. No video,
no video
stuff
clips.
yet. So
yeah, I mean, what I wrote here is that it's only up to speculation as to whether or not it's going to be like something like the Meta Knight stage from Brawl, where you're like on a platform that like
kind of
picks
moves.
up and like, let's go to a new place, and you're like,
that's what I think.
right,
Or like the Delfino one.
right. But one of it seems to be implied that it's going to be more like the Ice Climbers level.
Like a constantly scrolling situation.
I don't think it's going to be
Interesting.
constantly scrolling, but it showed a lot of like platforming bits where there's like, oh, like platforms are moving around in the background and foreground, and then you have to like keep up with the stage, which personally I hope it's not, because I dislike those stages a lot.
They're fun. They're like fun.
They're like party stages. So
Yeah.
like if you want to actually like have a fun fight, like I don't enjoy those, but
You're just not going to see a lot of that in like,
like,
competitive.
competitive.
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway. Either one I'd be happy with. I just want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to just see it. I don't really care. I'm going to play on Showdown pretty much only anyway.
Yeah, the cool deal with the stage is that the last like section you get to is the very top of the Prism Tower, as there's like a sunset over like the Lumiose skyline in the background. So that's gonna be real cool to be like a almost like Final Destination from Brawl, where it like pans out over like the world, and it's like, do you remember Final Destination from Brawl?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it's like just crazy, like kind of like psychedelic vistas.
Yeah, and then in the background you get like this beautiful sunset over like a lake or something. I don't know. It was really cool.
What was your Smash, Kels?
My Smash experience, like my
Like
favorite.
what was like the one that you played?
Brawl mostly.
Brawl?
Yeah, the first one in Brawl, I actually didn't have a GameCube for very long, so I played not a lot of Melee, which is kind of counter most of what everybody else did.
Yeah, that was like exactly opposite of me. I played so much Melee and I just didn't get a Wii. I just like, it just never was in the cards for me. So
Yeah.
I didn't play Brawl unless I was like at a friend's house.
My friend, I didn't have a Wii either, but my friend for my birthday one year lent me his Wii for 2 months.
Oh, wow.
As like a birthday
cool
present,
present.
and that was like really neat. And so I played a lot of Brawl.
Did you play Zelda?
I did a little bit of it, not all of it.
You didn't beat it? Surprise, surprise.
What? That's a roast if I ever heard
I'm
one.
just roasting you. I
You
have no
have it.
idea. I have no idea
Casual
why
roast
roasting.
time.
Borrow it from you.
So let's jump right back into the news.
Yeah, so today is April 2nd. Yesterday was April Fool's Day, and oh my god.
Yeah.
What an unprecedented prank Google pulled.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah. So if you missed it, they like released like a video that was like the newest job at Google is Pokemon Master.
Yeah.
And it was like this like AR like going out into the world like like holding your phone up in front of like areas and seeing Pokemon. And like they were saying like whoever catches them all first gets a job at Google, which is like
Crazy.
a joke, but like people were they added this functionality to the Google Maps app where you could just like look around the world and see Pokemon, right? And it was 150 Pokemon or 151 Pokemon, including
Right.
Mew.
There were-
but it wasn't like the
the-
original 150. It was like
It was like
across-
selections and like popular ones from each generation, and so it was really neat. And they were all in cool like landmarky type of areas.
Yeah.
Like some that stood out to me was I went to the pyramids of Giza, and Donphan was there in the desert rolling around, not rolling around, but you know, hanging out.
in your imagination.
In my imagination.
yeah.
And then like Dedenne was at Nintendo of America, and Snorlax was hanging out in the Vatican.
Scraggy was in Alcatraz.
Right. Yeah. Hilarious. Just hilarious.
Scraz.
Scragatrowel.
Yeah, so super fun. It was like a super fun little thing, and it was definitely a great marketing strategy on Google's part. I
Yeah.
have to say,
Mew is super elusive.
right? And it definitely made me download Google Maps. So
Yeah,
it
like
worked.
literally
Good job.
every single person in the world who's ever like smiled at Pokemon downloaded Google Maps and played. Except for Alex, because Alex was too busy.
Except for Jimmy, who has a Google Nexus phone and just didn't.
Huge Google fan.
Didn't do it.
Doesn't
Just
like
didn't
to play
even go.
games. Doesn't like.
I don't like video games really.
Doesn't
you
like.
know?
No, just doesn't like games. Like playing games. Doesn't like messing around.
I don't play games when I play games.
Yeah, he's no nonsense.
Jeez.
But yeah, it was really fun. It was
Yeah.
really cool. Like everybody did it. It was great to watch Jaywitz like agonizing over this Mew, like
Yeah.
tweeting that he heard rumors that Mew was in Brazil and stuff.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Google Maps Twitter tweeted at Jaywitz.
Yeah.
To like he was like, man, I'm just getting so upset by this thing. I can't find Mew, and Google Maps tweeted it at him, and they were like, "Don't give up, Josh. You can do it." It was just so like
He was
That's
like,
hilarious.
"What in the hell?" Especially ironic considering his like trouble getting in contact with YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Anyway.
that was the Google Maps April Fool's joke. We
Yeah.
also did one. It was the desk. It was great.
Yeah.
It was fun. But
I love April Fools.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's
I don't
a great
like
little
the
holiday.
hate that it gets. Like people are like hostile about like
people just
lighthearted
don't-
tricks.
People just don't like being tricked. People don't like being
It's not even a
fooled.
trick. Like the
Yeah.
desk is not a trick.
Yeah.
No one is like, what? They changed the furniture? Oh damn!
Like I've said this a few times. I haven't said it on the podcast, but like I've said it to friends and stuff. I like April Fool's jokes that understand that they're not gonna fool anybody.
Right.
Like I hate when
Yeah.
someone's like, "Guys, I'm pregnant." It's like nobody believes you. Like you're just being dumb. Like you're not gonna like gotcha. No one has been got ever. Like April Fool's hasn't been fooly for like a decade now.
April Fool, no foolie.
Yeah.
I don't know. My friend pretended to get engaged one day, one April Fool's, and it was hilarious at the time. But then she got a huge backlash for it, and that was
Oh,
crazy.
Of course. I mean, like
Greg.
That's a
has
story for
his-
another day.
Greg has his Skype. Greg from The Completionist, our in-office buddy show. He on his Skype, his birthday is set as April 1st, and so people just tell him happy birthday all day.
That's hilarious.
Pretty
I
good.
love that.
Pretty good
what a
bit.
jerk.
So moving right along,
Yeah.
there's a download thing going on in the UK right now that is from certain game stores. I'm not sure exactly what stores it is.
The list of game stores was colossal.
It's like a large amount.
We would have been reading it for the next 5 minutes. So
But if you have Pokemon Y, you can get an Electabuzz, and if you got X, you get Magmar, and they're holding their Magmarizer and Electrizer evolution items that you need to trade to evolve
Sweet.
them.
yeah, and it's completely free. You just like literally you just walk into the game store. I'm sure they'll have like signs or whatnot, so you don't just like walk into a random game store and they say no. But you just walk in, you ask the employees for a code, and depending on your version, they'll give you the code for that Pokemon.
They're both
Great.
level 30. Electabuzz has Low Kick, Shockwave, Light Screen, and Thunder Punch. And Magmar has Smoke Screen, Fire Spin, Confuse Ray, and Fire Punch. Pretty weird.
Yeah, just kind of like this kind of seems like a really weird giveaway because they don't seem like really like competitive and or like
they also have their hidden
interesting.
ability, which is Vital Spirit, which is
is a-
kind of cool, like almost barely. It just means you can't fall asleep.
right, which is
Right.
like it's very situational. Like
But like
that'd be
Motor
use-
Drive, in my opinion, Motor Drive on Electabuzz is much better.
Motor
than
Drive is great.
Vital Spirit or Flame Body
Flame
on
Body is
Magmar,
great too.
Pretty good.
I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
I guess it's cool to get like a free Magmarizer and Electrizer, or like just to get that Pokemon in your Pokedex. It's like a cool free thing.
Yeah. Are they not? Are those items not available? Is that what the deal is?
I mean, I think they're rare. I think you can only get one in each. They're like Reaper Cloth or Whip
Wow.
Dream and all that. I mean, I could be completely wrong because I don't care much for Electivire or
Yeah.
Magmortar. So, also, it's not just the UK. The event is also it's generally running from around April 14th to the 30th. Because like in some countries it's like 1 day off on one way
Right.
or the other.
Gotcha.
But it's also running in Spain, France, Germany, and the Netherlands just for Diedrich, just for Dev.
Yeah. If your name's Dev and you love Electrode, good news. Electabuzz has almost the same name as Electrode.
If you, bad news though, he has X version, so he's gonna be a Magmar.
Later, man.
Later, man.
Except I love Magmortar a lot, so I'm
it's
happy.
growing on me.
Yeah,
They're
I
both like
really like both those guys.
I think during when they came out, like when Gen 4 came out, I was just like kind of averse to the whole like extra evolution things because they all just looked fat to me.
I
Like,
was too. I
That's
agree with you.
cool.
Like I think they all just look like inflated versions of their previous forms. Like,
more like badass buffed versions.
Everybody except
Just
Togekiss.
fat.
I like Togekiss, but
How
the
can you
rest of them
not?
I'm like,
How can you not like Electivire?
like I said, he's growing on me.
Yeah.
I'm
I
maturing.
like Electivire because you look like Electivire.
I never knew that.
If I looked like Electivire for reals, you guys would never speak to me, and no one would, and I couldn't speak English probably.
Alex would walk around with a black like Zorro mask and yellow hair.
Yeah, I would be a biker.
Yes.
Who
Biker Alex.
later, man. All right, but with that is the close of our news segment for today. So there was a lot of stuff, not a lot of stuff that I like resonate with like personally a lot. Like,
Yeah, I mean-
I've been meaning to like compete but it's a lot of work, and like I just can't leave the office for a lot of time, and so
Also, by playing on Showdown a lot, and
Yeah.
since we generally go by Smogon tiers and rules, because I mean I just like their rule set, and I think it's
you guys,
very
you
practical.
guys have heard me rant about why you can't battle officially with 6 Pokemon single battle.
Right, but not only that, but just going into like a real like Pokemon like Nintendo official event means you're going to be dealing with Mega Kangaskhan, you're going to be dealing with Mega Garchomp, like all these like Mega Gengar,
Some legendaries.
legendaries. Like there's things that aren't banned, so like I would have to personally like start to relearn what my opponents would be using, as opposed to just like knowing like, okay, I'm never gonna go against Mega Gengar because he's not in this tier. Like
Right.
that's not a thing at these events
I would love to start a petition, you know,
to
I
get
would-
like official Pokemon tiers.
to just get an official 6v6 like single battle competition going. It seems like a no-brainer. I feel like if that petition was a thing, like it's crazy to me that I can't matchmake like that
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah.
You can matchmake with like other things, but not that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I think I talked about this last podcast a little bit. I do like the one-on-one where it's like 6v6 and you have to choose your 3, because it's kind of like an interesting like, oh, they have these, so maybe he'll use this and this because
Right.
what he sees on my team. I like that, but there should definitively be a just like all 6 of your Pokemon one-on-one
Yeah,
battle.
because
Sure.
for that thing, while it is cool, you would have to make a team based around that dynamic.
Yeah.
So all the strategy that I know and stuff like doesn't work quite as well, like team-based strategy.
Yeah. Like
And
you
that-
can't really use like a speed boost passer Scolipede with only 3 Pokemon.
Yeah, a lot of strategies become like not
Yeah.
useful.
Yeah. You have
Whatever.
to use like very good standalone guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Anyway, that's it for the news today, which is that went by a little bit faster than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's jump into our top 5, which in honor of the Pokemon Championships is about battling again.
Yeah.
And we will talk about the top 5 competitive dragon type Pokemon.
Dragon.
Yes.
Dragon.
So as usual, we always have a
was a
runner-up
man.
that sort of like explains the thing, and it's like a common answer that
Right.
whatever. And so this week we're gonna go with Salamence, because Salamence is kind of like a tragic story in that he came out and he like jumped to the top of the list of like best dragon, like GTFO,
Right.
no problem.
Salamence was
and,
the man.
and he was that for about 2 generations. Just really buff, like, you know, he just does his dance and then he just outrages with the
Yeah.
berry and just like can sweep half a team like that.
Yeah.
And that's just how it's done.
And then he had to kind of fall from grace.
He did, but I don't want to spoil it too much. But I mean, I guess like he could still do the same strategy, but
yeah, but there's just better options.
yeah, there's just better options. So we're gonna go down. So we're gonna go down the list, and we're gonna talk about a few of these dragons. So the first one is number 5, and that's Hydreigon.
Hydreigon.
Dragon.
I love Hydreigon.
Yeah.
Cool name.
Hydreigon is a really cool Pokemon just because of like what it is. It's
Yeah.
kind of like you got to get with me on this. Is it looks almost like he's made of like flaps of fabric or something like that. Like he's kind of like kind of like floppy, like
puppety?
like a puppety kind of like ragdoll feel.
Interesting.
He has like his like mouth hand things kind of look like sock puppets.
Right.
And he has those kind of like flowery like what would you call it? Like his mane.
His like rough.
Frill.
Yeah, his like
Frill.
frill is like very big and like floppy. But he's really cool. He's a dark dragon, which is an interesting typing.
Only got worse in Gen 6, unfortunately, because
of the
he's
fairy.
one of the 3 Pokemon in the game that are fully evolved that are ×4 weak to fairy. The other 2 being Scrafty and Pangoro,
Yeah.
which are both dark fighting. So yeah, if you're running against Togekiss, etc., Mega Mawile,
Be careful.
any play
Later
rougher.
man.
Yeah, later man.
That said, though, Hydreigon is very cool. Like he has Levitate, which is a
Right.
cool thing,
and with his dark typing, that makes him immune to both ground and psychic.
which are 2 free switch-ins. He's pretty much just like a special.
He's a special sweeper. I actually have been using one on Showdown a lot as a scarfed special sweeper.
Yeah.
Whew, so strong.
He just
I-
got monster special attack.
Yeah, I actually got a really good play the other day where some guy set up, he like mind games me and swords danced twice with his Garchomp
Yikes.
to like outdo me, like because I kept predicting and trying to sucker punch it, and it just set up, and I was like, this Garchomp's gonna kill me. This Garchomp's gonna sweep me 6-0 right now. And so I switched on the third turn into my Hydreigon, like
the
predicting the earthquake, and there it was. Took it like, obviously levitate, no damage at all, and then Scarfed. I just Draco Meteored and one-shot it, and I was just like,
Great.
Nice.
I was so happy. That won me the game too.
Draco
Great.
Meteor is one of the few moves that has a downside that's like super duper useful.
Yeah, it's like you have to know, like it's great on a Scarf user because like you just get it out like a super strong attack and then you switch
Get out of there, yeah.
Anyway, though,
He's really cool.
he's great.
I do recommend him. Like, still, he's very versatile. He has like flamethrower. Really,
Yeah, he has a lot of good
Yeah.
moves. He has Flash Cannon. It's
Wow.
like a sneaky anti-fairy move.
Yeah, that's Gnar. But yeah, that's number 5. Number 4 is Latios.
Hell yeah.
The blue one, if we are not able to remember which one that is.
How
The
do I
blue
wish
one.
it was Latias? I love Latias.
Latios is also very good.
And
Yeah.
beautiful and cute.
But I mean, I feel like it'd be kind of like wussy of us not to pick one or the other. And I feel like the
Latios is like the better option.
Latios is the more competitive one.
He's,
he's
just
got
got more
access to
things going
recover.
him.
He's also got levitate. He's got psychic typing, which is interesting.
Right. Also has Surf. Very commonly runs Surf and
Yeah.
Defog.
Yeah, that's like
yeah.
that defog has totally changed how it worked
Right.
in this generation.
Right,
In
it's
that
a-
it now wipes the field also.
Yeah, unblockable spin
Yeah.
is what it is. Also, it wipes your side, which is it's harder to use because if you're setting up rocks and spikes and stuff too, you have to be careful of defogging your own stuff out of the way.
Right.
But I mean, if they spin it or something, like that's your free go get them. Plus, it lowers evasion, so it's like it's cool if you have like a focus blast or something that like help you out a little bit. I think it helps you out.
I've been liking Defog because it's like it's like a secret for me. Is I have a Dawn fan and it's the rapid spinning Dawn fan, and so usually when people knock out my Dawn fan, they're like great, and they set up all their entry hazards again, and then that like it just gives me a bunch of free turns, and then I just switch into Crobat and use Defog, and then everyone's like, oh, you have 2, and it's something that
Sneaky.
not a lot of people are prepared for.
Yeah. Latios also has recover. It also has
Draco Meteor.
Draco Meteor. Unfortunately, it's item Soldu, which is like the light ball, but for Latios, it is banned.
Really?
He's no longer OU when he has that.
Oh right, he
Interesting.
goes up to Ubers.
Well, speaking of items in Latios, I guess we'll just have to see what happens when his Megastones are officially.
Oh
Yeah,
right.
That's I'm a little confused about this because it seems weird that they both just turn into the same exact jet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They both turn into like an ambiguous purple thing.
Yeah.
I like that it has like jet engines on the side of it though.
It is a
'Cause,
little
like,
weird looking though. I'll give it that.
It's
I mean, like, 'cause they're based on
Such,
airplanes.
it's such a mega evolution.
Yeah.
You know? Like it's like over designed. It's like a little bit like
Cheesy.
Like like cheesier, like more like ballsy with what it is. Like
Yeah.
it's like really like
It
really
is an airplane.
Yeah, it is literally just an airplane. But it's interesting that it's both of them. I wonder if they both have to be there. That is my that is
would
my
be
theory.
Really weird.
That would be an interesting requirement.
Like
That's my theory. Maybe he's like
Saiyan
super
fusion
good.
dance.
Yeah. Like if he's super good,
Just one more connection to Dragon Ball Z.
later, man. But yeah,
Latios.
that's Latios. I have always loved Latios. He's one of my favorite legendaries ever. I think he's really cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
I'm down.
Yet another reason why I want to see another story set in Hoenn.
Oh yeah. I want to see Hoenn again because I want to see a very like fully realized puzzle to get to the Reggies.
Right?
Because like that was one of the coolest puzzles in Pokemon history was like the Relicanth and the Wailord in the front
That
and
was
back of your
cool.
party, and then you use Dig at one point. Like it was super confusing, but it was like so satisfying.
I
Yeah,
would
that
love to
was
see
awesome.
like like some touchscreen like temple puzzles like Indiana Jones like Professor Layton style kind of thing. That'd be
Nice.
cool.
That was pretty cool.
But yeah,
That's cute.
I don't know. Let's
move
move
on.
on. Number 3, Goodra.
Gudra.
Goodra is one of the few like very reliably defensive dragons that
Yeah.
there is.
You know, at first when I saw Gudra, I was like, why is it not a dual type? Why is it just a pure dragon? And then using one, actually during the April Fools, I was doing a lot of random battles, and using one, I was like, oh, I understand exactly why it's a pure dragon type now.
Yeah.
And it's because it only has dragon weaknesses and
Yep.
it's very specially defensive. And so I was like, I totally understand. And though Goodra kind of looks like a poison dragon or a water dragon or something like that, like
I think that
very,
probably at
very
one point
cool
it
that
was a
pure
poison
dragon.
type. In the process.
Did we-
Speaking of which, yeah, we did not address that. You reminded me of that. April Fool's on Pokemon Showdown was a hilarious, a hilarious situation.
I completely forgot to put that in there. Yeah.
Because they took all the like 3D art GIFs.
Yeah, they like just recently added like the X and Y real models into the game to like make it look great.
And it really does.
Yeah, and then for April Fools, they just downgraded it to MS Paint art.
Yeah, like,
It's so funny.
It's like MS Paint art, like bad Photoshops. Like Mega Mawile had 2 chain chomps coming out of its head.
Yeah.
From Mario RPG.
I think my favorite was Scolipede. Was like the person got like the colors that Scolipede is and just did like squiggly lines, like just in like like the vague shape of him.
I like
very
Primeape. Did you guys
disconnected.
see Primeape?
No, I didn't.
That MS Paint tool that's like a spray can. They just did like a big splotch of Primeape and then drew a mad face on it and like put like lines coming out of it.
It's so good.
Aromatisse, I think it was Aromatisse, was like a clip art of a flamingo.
Oh gosh.
Very
It's
weird.
very clever. It was
Yeah.
it was a really
It's
good
super
one.
funny.
And Missing No was available to play as.
Yeah, Missing No was like a Pokemon you could use.
And whenever you used Earthquake, the screen would shake and it would be like, you used Fissure. Oh, JK, it was Earthquake.
Yeah.
Really good.
Pretty solid.
But Goodra, going back to Goodra,
Yeah,
Goodra
Goodra.
is a very, very specially defensive, like HP heavy type of dude, and his special
Yeah.
attack is not to be scoffed at.
Yeah.
And he's just,
He's just a solid, chunky dragon.
yeah, he's somebody that I feel like is a lot weaker than he really is. I wish he could learn Bulk Up. That would like
be
change.
That'd be neat.
That would change the game.
Bulk Up Goodra would be unholy.
But he is really good, and he's a common like Draco Meteor user, and he's been like carving out a place. Like people don't use him a lot, but he's there, and the people who do know how to use him can like rule the school with him. Because I feel like for some reason, whenever I get my butt kicked by a Goodra, that I'm like, what? Goodра's doing this?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
He's a super good assault vest user. He's one of like the guys that you like the go-to assault vest guys, like right up there with Tyranitar. And since when you put assault vest, you can't use boosting moves
Right.
or anything else. It gives him the option, since he has such a great special move pool, to just like cover all types.
Yeah, he just has 4 attacks, and he just bam, bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam, and then he's got Draco Meteor just in case you need to like lay down the damage.
Lay down the damage.
Yeah. So he's great. He's really well designed. I love that he like drips. I think
Yeah.
that's so cool.
I
Yeah.
always thought that, because like when I first saw Gumi in the game, I thought it was a poison type.
Right.
Like I just like
we all did,
obviously,
of course,
yeah,
yeah.
because it doesn't look anything like a dragon. And I've come up with this theory. I think we might have talked about it on the podcast before, that like Gumi, Sliggoo, and Goodra evolved to fit their region, because Kalos is the only region with fairy types like canonically.
They want to look like a threat to the
Yeah,
fairy types
that,
because
like-
fairies are weak to poison
That's
types.
great.
they,
What
like,
a good theory.
Yeah, they like evolved defensively because fairies were like wiping out their race, and so they like evolved to look like Grimer and Muck, and like, we're poison types, don't mess with us. And
That's
scare us.
awesome. I love that.
But yeah. So anyway, how about number 2?
Number two
Number
is
The man.
the man, Garchomp.
Garch.
Gurch.
Garch.
Mr. Garch.
Gurch.
Garch
I don't know.
Brooks.
I don't know like what there is to say about Garchomp that you don't already know. The dude is bulky. The dude is fast. The dude is freaking powerful.
He's
The dude has a mega evolution.
yeah. The
the
dude,
dude has
is-
a mega evolution that nobody uses because he's so good without it.
Right, right.
The dude abides. He's a great rest talker. He has rough skin. You can give him a Rocky helmet and just make people wish they were somewhere else.
For VGC, I was watching a few people like Justin Flynn and such stream VGC practice. His other ability is Sandveil.
Later,
And
man.
that was messing people up
Oh,
because
yeah.
there's no evasion clause in real, like in like VGC and all that. So pair him up with the T-Tar.
Yeah, later, man.
Sandstream Sandveil.
That was in my clutch moment.
Oh, really?
In the couple of podcasts
that's
ago, was
right,
that
that's
Garchomp
right.
with Sandveil that I totally wasn't prepared for.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's crazy good.
Can you
Stab
Can you
Earthquake.
imagine that at one point Sandstream was infinity?
Yeah, that's
lasted
messed
forever.
up. Just lasted
Like
forever.
what? Like it has been that way for so long, but like until it changed, like I can't imagine going back to a world where it's like all weather always.
Yeah. Like when you just switch into Sandstreamer, that it just stays there until you change the weather.
It defined the metagame.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm glad-
Garchomp also looks awesome.
Oh, Garchomp is cool. Like he's got like torpedoes on the side of his head. I mean,
Torpedoes?
if
He's like literally a shark with legs.
He's like a street shark, yeah.
He's like a sand shark.
Do you guys remember the street sharks?
Isn't he a sand shark? Is that his Pokemon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the street sharks?
I remember Street Sharks.
No.
Street Sharks.
not I.
I remember the theme song vaguely.
You remember Street Sharks, but you don't remember
Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Legend of the
Don't you talk about things.
You know what? You guys don't know this, but these two always make me feel like an old man, even though I'm like only a few years older.
They're like 2-3 years older than me.
Yeah, but it's you would be surprised how often people are like, that was before my time, and I'm like, what? What do you mean? I remember it just like it was yesterday.
To be fair, I was one of those kids who my parents were like, no, you can't watch that. No, you can't watch that. Like it was like Pokemon was like the show that I was allowed to watch when I was growing up. I wasn't allowed to watch Power Rangers.
But not Legend of the Hidden Temple.
I don't know what Legend of the Hidden Temple is because I've never seen it.
It was a great game show with kids that they would learn about history and they would do physical challenges
and trivia
in order to go into
Hey,
Olmec.
speaking of physical, Garchomp's a great physical attacker. Stab Earthquake, stab Outrage, messes people up.
He's a later man. I would not give him Outrage though, because I think that messes him up too much. He needs
Okay,
to-
Yeah,
stab
that's a little
Dragon
too-
Claw.
It's a
Stab
little
and
too
Claw.
scary now.
I would
Dragon
give him
stab.
Rest Talk, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, and just lay down the
It's a good-
damage.
it's a
Rocky Helmet.
Good way to go. Swords Dance is a great move on
Rocky
him.
Helmet mixed with Rough Skin is like the worst. It's like you just hit it and you're like, oh my god.
Think of Ferrothorn, but Ferrothorn that can hit back with
Ferrothorn that
stab
can
Earthquake.
like kill you in one hit. Yeah.
Ferrothorn that can sweep your team with Earthquake.
Or like while he's sleeping. Redonkulous.
Sweep you.
Slow weeping.
Redonkulous.
Sleeping/weeping. But that's enough about Garchomp. Number one is who else could it be? But
It's Dragonite.
oh
Gotcha.
man.
Beat you.
Oh.
It's Dragonite.
Yeah, Dragonite was okay. So we were talking about Salamence earlier. Dragonite is the original Dragon Dance Outrage user in the metagame because that was his jam. You know, you dance once, you get the attack boost, and you get the speed boost, which is enough for him to outspeed pretty much anything.
Right.
And then he just goes to town with Outrage,
Lays down the damage.
Salamence literally just did exactly that, but better.
Yeah.
Until a few things happened. Number one, Dragonite in Gen 5 got the hidden ability Multiscale, which halves the damage of the first attack that hits him if he has full health.
Right.
So that already gave him something of an advantage over Salamence, but in that case, it was still sort of like an either or situation.
Right.
Like, do I want to get the extra attack or do I want to like, you know, be more likely to live? Because
Like,
you could do Focus Sash either one and, you'd be fine. But then in Gen 6, Dragonite also benefits greatly from an item called Weakness Policy.
Right.
So
It's a very gimmicky item. Very few Pokemon can use it effectively. Multiscale Dragonite allows the weakness policy to like be used at max capacity.
And it's great.
So
Yeah.
what the weakness policy is it's a hold item that gets used up when you get hit by a move that you are weak against.
Right.
And it multiplies your attack and your special attack. It raises them both 2 stages.
Right.
So
Just nuts.
so what you do
Stupid
is you dance that first turn and you welcome the super effective attack that's coming, whether it be an ice type attack, whether it be a fairy type attack, whether it be a dragon type attack, what have you. And what you're left with is the multiscale takes the edge off that hit. The weakness policy activates. You get the attack boost from Dragon Dance.
Yep.
And then you get 2 more attack boosts. Then you get the speed boost from Dragon Dance, and you can literally like wipe the side.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool thing, and for that reason, I think he's finally dethroned Salamence.
Yeah, I think he's definitively better than Salamence now. Like using at the Dragon Dance strategy, he's just the better option.
Yeah. There's also Rayquaza.
Well,
Rayquaza.
I mean, we're talking OU here.
Yeah, that's real.
But yeah, I mean, like, just with that whole setup, you can Dragon Dance infinitely until someone hits you.
Yeah, plus-
you don't have to sweep them. You can just like, oh, you didn't hit me that turn. I'll just Dragon Dance again. Why don't I? And
Yeah.
like, you can, if they never hit you, you just have so many turns
You're
of Dragon
just
Dance
later,
and
man.
free
Yeah.
setup.
Literally once you've danced twice,
That's kind of it.
you're pretty much like fine because you're that much faster.
Yeah, unless they have like 2 guys that have Ice Shard on the other team.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen.
Mamoswine and Weavile combo team.
But even then, like the first Ice Shard's gonna like put you in the zone. You can still swap out.
That's why I said 2. Like,
Yeah.
you need the second one.
Crazy. But yeah, plus it's Dragonite.
Yeah.
Dragonite is awesome. Dragonite's the best. Dragonite looks cool. He's better than all the rest.
I love
Good poem, dude.
have some coffee. You're the man. I love Dragonite's default art because he looks like the most like friendly dragon.
Yeah.
Like his
looks
default
like a
art
little
has his
koi.
arm. His arm is like up as if he's like, oh hey man.
It's like, what's up?
And he's just like big and dopey. He looks like the kind of dragon that would say, oh hey man. Like
Yeah.
if you were just like walk up to a dragon, like Garchomp wouldn't do that.
He has like
Stab you.
eyes that are like, who, me?
He and
Dragon?
Gudra are probably like best buddies.
Yeah,
Dude,
him and
I-
Gudra are just like
There's 2
chilling.
little like waddly dragons that are like,
kind of like
we're
pot-bellied
dragons.
dragons.
I
They're
picture
like
them
Puff
like
the Magic
sitting at a
Dragons.
cafe having like deli sandwiches together.
Deli sandwiches, heartily laughing.
All right, but that does it for the top 5 this week, guys. Ba, 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 ba. So now let's move into the community segment. Moving right along here.
Moving right along.
This week's question that we are all going to answer, that you can answer by going to thedexcast@gmail.com and sending us an email, is what do you think the next dragon Pokemon should be? Come up with a neat design.
Yeah, come up like what dragon hasn't been done? Because
Yeah,
like,
what's
there's been
missing?
a lot of interesting dragons that have come out of Pokemon.
Yeah,
and
sure.
yeah. So let's hear from Kelly Whistler.
Hey, you said my last name.
Kelly Wismer.
Kelly
Yeah,
Whistler.
Keldeo Wismer.
Keldeo Wismer. Ugh.
Well, since you put me on the spot, I think we need a grass dragon. We kind of
That
talked
is-
about that a little bit in our Mega Evolution episode.
That is what I'm all about.
Oh, but I would
what I'm
love
all
to have
about.
some sort of just like bright green grass dragon that's just as like, that's its bag, that's its deal.
And you want to, and like, what's the?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you kind of did make me go first, so I want a grass dragon. I also want an electric dragon. I mean, we have Zekrom, but like I want something.
Well, we
I
also
want
have-
something more like a Chinese dragon that's an electric
Well,
dragon.
we also
That'd
have
be
the,
cool.
we also have the Japanese dragon that is Mega Ampharos.
That's true. Yeah, but I don't really. I
You
don't,
want like
You're talking about
like a long like Gyarados looking.
yeah, electric dragon thing
Yeah,
like that.
that'd be pretty cool.
And what other type combinations? A ghost dragon might be awesome.
Ghost
I-
Dragon would be neat.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that I want an OU like ghost dragon that's like totally different. I want like a bulky, physically bulky one that's kind of sort of like the bulky physical counterpart to Gudra. Mm-hmm. Maybe it has mummy,
Cool.
Mummy Dragon.
Yeah,
that's
Ooh,
actually
like a
kind of what
rock
I was
dragon.
thinking.
like a bandaged dragon.
I
you
was
know what I
thinking
mean?
of like a skeleton, dragon skeleton.
A rock dragon would be awesome.
There's one of those too, Tyrantrum.
Yeah, but like,
Tyrantrum is a rock dragon.
I guess I'm just thinking of like designs of dragons in
Yeah,
my mind.
you're not coming from a battle perspective. I feel like you're coming from like a
Design perspective.
like Tyrantrum is a rock dragon, but he's obviously based off of a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah,
and so like you're talking about like a dragon that is also like a stone, like a dragon man.
Yeah.
The Great Stone Dragon.
that'd be cool.
Mulan.
I also I'd also love to see on the flip side of the ghost dragon a normal dragon, which has
interesting.
ghost immunity. They can switch into some of those
That's
ghost
so
type
funny,
attacks.
and it would just be like a green dragon with wings, and it'd just be like
like-
the most.
Actually,
Clip art dragon.
did you guys remember the did we talk about this last week? I think we did. The I think it's 4chan or Reddit that's making a
Oh yeah.
Pokemon
yeah,
game?
that's 4chan. Yeah.
it's VP, right?
Well, I mean, like, it's a community of internet people, but I think they mostly come from 4chan.
It's like the game that they're working on
Yeah.
VP, and it's they have these two dragons in there that are normal type dragons, and the main one is called Roigi Biv,
Oh, that's right.
Oh, right.
and it's like a rainbow, like it's like a white dragon with like
Yeah.
rainbow scales.
It's
It's really
RGB
cool.
and Regibiv.
Yeah, it has like a very like Dragonite feel to it in my mind.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mystical, like, but kind of like normally
It's cute.
dragon.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very good design.
That's my zone.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I was going to say Ghost Dragon.
Skeleton dragon.
Yeah, but maybe even like a fighting dragon.
A fighting dragon would be awesome, except for the fairy issue.
Well, I mean, that's
But then
that's a
it kind
dragon
of
issue all the
helps with
time.
the ice issue, though.
Yeah, that's true. Have we seen a steel dragon yet? Besides Dialga?
No, I mean, I just don't count legendaries when I'm talking Pokemon designs because, like,
I never use them. Yeah.
Like, I mean, not just that I never use them, is that like Dialga is a steel dragon, but at the same time, I don't see it as a dragon almost at all.
Right.
Like, it's not designed. I mean, I'm sure there's some design.
I get what you're
there.
saying. Yeah, sure.
But like, I'm talking about like how Kels is talking about. Like, if I was to have like a steel dragon, it would look something akin to Steelix, but like give it some claws and arms and stuff, and I don't know.
Cool. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
Give it like.
Maybe even Steelix's Mega Evolution.
I would love for there to be.
Dragon.
I would love for there to be a like a Steelate
Steelate,
ability, like Pixelate, where like
Feralate,
yeah, like any move can become like a Steel type
like
move.
a normal type moves become Steel type.
Yeah.
Steel type return. Ooh,
Later, man.
ouch.
That's what we need though. There's not a lot of like super good Steel type moves.
Yeah, there really isn't.
True.
You're kind of limited because
But,
like Iron Tail's solid, but has super bad accuracy.
Yeah, it's not great. But like, if there was a Steel Dragon, that'd be a cool thing to put on him because it would protect him against fairy types, and he would have to worry about fire types. But
Yeah.
they would do neutral damage. But yeah, so that's our answers. Write yours about what you think the next Dragon type Pokemon should be to the dexcast@gmail.com. And speaking of that email address, we will prove that we are listening and reading that because a bunch of you sent in answers to last week's question. Well, not last week's because we're
2 weeks.
two behind.
2 weeks ago.
Which was, what job would you like to do in the Pokemon universe? There still hasn't been any response from any sort of Patreon members leaving messages for me. So we have yet to listen to any of those. But as far as emails go, let's jump in.
Let's jump right in.
The first email comes from Worker Aiden, who says, "Hello, I'm a frequent listener, and I really appreciate that you are releasing the podcast to everyone and quickly too." Well, thank you. To address the topic in the title, the question was what Pokemon Universe job we would want. I think I would want to be a construction worker. Not only would we, the workers, have defense from the region's crime ring thanks to the Pokemon around us, but our buildings would be amazing. Think about it. Gyms have mind-bending physics that we would have a somewhat improved grasp of. The buildings housing the Elite Four would go down in history as record-breakingly colossal. And once we finish, we could sit behind our teleporters, electric barriers, ground switches, and launch pads like magicians watching an audience reactions to a particularly good trick. The architecture and construction in the world of Pokemon has always amazed me, and it would be great to be a part of that.
That's
awesome.
fantastic answer.
Failing construction, I think I also might like to be a scientist or inventor just to get the proof there is actual science involved in arrows on the ground that launch you in certain directions while spinning you in a way that you can't stop yourself.
Sure.
Question aside, I really enjoy this podcast. And all the others. This and the Dex, as well as the Extra Dex, are some of my favorite web series. I like the way the show is put together, especially the Pokemon Creation Myth, etc. segment, and I'm glad Jimmy gets a show too, because he deserves it and does a good job. Sincerely,
That he does.
Worker Aiden. That was an excellent response.
What a cool guy.
I never thought about being like a construction worker before. That's really cool.
That was awesome. Love that.
The next response comes from the official #1 fan of the Dex. Dev.
Diedrich.
Yeah,
That's
Diedrich.
2000.
boy.
Our man Diedrich, who said, "Hello again, Alex, Jimmy, Kels, and potential guest this time." There is no guest. Joke's on you, Dev. If I were to pick a job in the Pokemon world, I would combine being a gym leader and being part of a criminal organization because it would allow me to create my ideal Pokemon world. I would be the leader of a gym, but instead of fighting the trainers that travel far and wide, I would steal their Pokemon because I'm part of a criminal organization and I can just do that. Then, when they're about to leave, I give them a Voltorb, which leaves them with no choice but to train it. Now, when they come back to fight me, it can go one of two ways. Either they get all their Pokemon stolen again and given a new Voltorb, or they can legit fight me with their hopefully by now Electrode. That way, I know that they're attached to it and it is a key part of their team. Which concludes into every trainer that goes through my gym, which they have to do to get a badge and to battle the Elite Four, ending up with an Electrode. Almost every relevant trainer in the region will have an Electrode. The entire region will slowly adjust its ways to work with the onslaught of Electrodes everywhere so that it literally cannot do without them from here on out, creating a new culture based fully around Electrodes. The perfect world. Hashtag Electrode Region 2014. Hashtag the dream will be real. Hashtag Pokeballs are unoriginal. Hashtag Float Thugs.
Float thugs.
Wow.
Either that or be a Pokemon professor. Pokenologist, pretty baller. Keep up the great work. Your pal Dev.
Thanks, Dev. That was great.
Have you guys? I'm
Damn.
not
He
gonna,
really thought in depth on that one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make it easy for you guys, but if you can find that guy on Twitter and send him pictures of Electrode fan art, I'm sure that he will be.
Go draw Dev some electrodes.
Yeah, go draw Dev Electrodes.
I was wondering at first, I was like, where's this going? And then I was like, oh, of course.
Hashtag later, man.
Hashtag float thugs.
But thank you, Dev, for writing in. This next one comes from Ryu Inuzuka. I hope that's right. My dream job in the Pokemon universe would be Pokemon Ranger. You get to go out and help wild Pokemon and help with natural disasters. You would also run into a lot of rare Pokemon that you could become friends with. Thanks again for all that you do. I've been watching since the Zangoose episode. Keep up the good work.
All right, that was an older
thank you.
one.
Pokemon Ranger is a pretty badass thing.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I mean, like, they're cool, and then the sprites in the normal games are cool, and then you have, like, the Ranger game itself. Like,
Do you ever play the
I just
Ranger
feel
games?
No, I didn't. I wanted to try them out, though. Those were ones that I'm like, yeah, I could do that.
Have you?
I have not.
I'm interested in trying them out. I played through one of them, like, briefly, but it was like a completed one. Did I tell you guys about that? That I got the egg out of the game. I bought it used, and it was like somebody beat it all the way and got the egg for Manaphy
Oh, wow.
or
and then just never
got it, and so I just got that.
That's how you got that's great.
But yeah,
Dang.
neat.
Yeah.
This next one comes from Ian, who says, the job I would want to have in the Pokemon world would be a referee of Pokemon battles.
Great.
How awesome would it be to say, Onyx is unable to battle, Ash wins? Also, just like referees in our sports, you would eventually work your way up to the ranks and to get to be a referee in gyms and eventually the Pokemon League. You would have a front row seat for the most epic Pokemon battles you ever see and get paid to be there. It's a win-win scenario and would be the coolest job in the world. Anyway, keep doing what you guys do. You guys are awesome, and I wish you guys uploaded more videos because I could watch you for hours and are my favorite YouTube channel. Thank you.
Aw.
Thank
awesome.
you.
On a side note, I just thought of this. What if schools had like a Pokemon battling team? You'd have to try out to make the team and would compete against other schools. How dope would that be? Anyway, you don't have to discuss this or anything. I just wanted to throw it out there. Your fan, Ian.
Varsity steel types.
Varsity, like, steel type fighters men.
Fighters men.
Fighters men, that's what I said.
I always wondered what the education system is like in the Pokemon world. Because,
doesn't seem like there is
there's
one.
no school.
The education system is you get kicked out of your house at 10 years old and you have to just live.
And
The
then
education
if you want to
system-
become a professor, you just have to be a Pokemon professor.
The education system is that there is one trainer school in the entire country, and you can enter it and leave it as you please at any hour of the day or night.
And the entire curriculum of that school is written on the blackboard.
Yeah. And no, there's no staff anywhere. Great. So this next one is from Manny. Thank you, Ian. Was that Ian?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Ian.
Thanks.
This next one is from Manny. Hey guys, first off, I'm really enjoying your podcast, so good job and keep up the awesomeness. This is the first podcast to listen to, and I can truly say I made the right choice. I'm glad that there are people who are willing to share their love and knowledge about Pokemon. It is really awesome. To answer your question from last week, I would love to be a researcher. There is still a lot of mystery about Pokemon and the world itself, and it will be interesting to know more about them and get closer to the truth. If, however, I am not able to do that, I would probably work for Silph.Co, focusing on Pokeball manufacturing. Throughout my years of being a Pokemon fan, one thing that really bugs me is how a Pokeball works, and I'm still waiting for my answer. I've developed some theories about it, but then again, if I am in the Pokemon world, Silph.Co would probably be the only place to get the answers. Or the old Pokeball smith who makes Pokeballs out of Apricorn. Gen 2 is awesome. Thanks,
yeah,
guys,
it is.
and stay awesome. Manny.
Wow, Manny, you're like a man after my own heart. Those are like the two things that I would like to do in the Pokemon
Manny
world.
after her own heart.
Just a Manny after her own heart. We were just talking about that, actually, was the, like, what in the hell are Pokeballs?
Yeah, it's interesting because like in Gold and Silver, Kurt makes Pokeballs out of apricorns, and that's like fine. Like that's cool. Like I never really questioned it that he makes like this crazy technology out of a fruit.
Yeah.
But then in X and Y, they're like back in the ancient times when Pokeballs were apricorns, or like they say something like that where they reference it that they are just apricorns. And then I kind of like stopped for a second. I was like, does
that mean
what
that
is-
they can...
like what the hell is an apricorn and how does it work?
Pokemon get inside of the Apricorn?
Like, so I don't know. Yeah, that'd be very interesting to learn about like the canon knowledge of what Pokeballs are.
I really, truly hope, though I know it's probably not the case, that there is a Bible somewhere in the Game Freak office that is just like the lore of Pokemon. going back to the
And
beginning.
that like someone just knows it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope that that's real. Otherwise, I'll be sad. I could be that guy, Nintendo. Just saying. I
Just
could
saying.
be that guy.
He could be that guy.
I'm willing. I have the right respect for the franchise and the
Alex could be
willingness
the guy.
to
He
be
He
awesome.
could be the best like no one ever was.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind, Nintendo. The last one for today comes from somebody named John. And this one I am reading entirely because I'm selfish. Alex said that he wants information on screen during battle, which is an idea I like. However, aesthetically, I don't think it would look good. I do like the idea though, so I was thinking, what if instead of having the information on screen, this information could be saved on your Pokedex, which then you're allowed to whip out during the battle and quickly search the Pokemon and have all this information about it on there. Stuff like abilities, typing, move pool, etc., etc. In addition, this could also evolve to be another form of collecting. In order to gain this information, you would have to experience the abilities, move pools, and type effectiveness. So when you hit a psychic Pokemon with a dark type move, and the game says it's super effective, the Pokedex will register it, and now you have a device that can help you remember what type that Pokemon is and what's super effective against it. Oh, and another thing, you know how some NPCs or even TV shows for that matter will tell you an ability or move? That could be another way to collect the information. Last thing, this could also be a way of introducing younger players to the extensive knowledge and depth of Pokemon battling. What do you guys think about this? Good, bad, pointless? Anyways, love the podcast and everything you do. Bye. Thank you, John.
It was great.
You know, John, I think that's a good solution to the problem because I think Alex's idea made Jimmy and I angry because like I don't want to have to look at that and then but if it's in a situation where I can like go look at the Pokedex and see, I think that's totally fine.
Yeah, I think the reason that I am averse, is that even a word?
Yes.
Okay. I've used it twice in this podcast.
Aversion.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm using it right. I just don't
Yeah,
want to
we're
be the
good.
guy who's like,
The weird E.
yeah. Anyway, so the reason that I was originally against Alex's idea is just because as someone who takes a look at game design, I love game design. I love great games that are designed well and they like games that like teach you through the game and don't like over tutorialize and make you like, hey, learn this. Like I hate that stuff. And that's what I feel like Alex's idea verbatim would make me feel. Like
I feel like what the system is that's in place right now is one where you have to learn a bunch of shit.
well, first of all, you just cursed. Second of all,
Yeah, don't do that.
like
Come on, man.
yeah, you have to learn it, but like it just lets you learn it. Like they'll just hit you with a fairy type move and it'll be super effective, but you're just like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was gonna happen. Like that's how I was all in X and Y. I was like using fighting type Pokemon and then fairy types just like killed them, and I was like, oh, like I just had to like learn on the fly. If it was an accessible thing in a Pokedex that I didn't have to look at, that'd be great because then it wouldn't be like, as I'm using an attack, like, don't use that attack because it's not very effective. Like, get out of here. I don't want that.
You know what would actually be a cool like spin on this idea that like also solves the problem that I'm feeling with it, which is that it would be cumbersome for me to like search through a thing in the middle of a battle.
Okay.
Would be if I could like when you beat the game or something, you get like a key item that like now you can download this app onto your phone and then it like links it. So like if you wanna like it's just like the Pokedex app and,
Right.
and you can like monitor like the new things that you're learning, for example. Like
I suppose.
say he uses high jump kick on you, now it's like bam, like high jump kick. Now you know that high jump kick does this much damage, this
Yeah,
much stuff. Now it's on your Pokedex. But if you're like, what the heck is this? And it's like then it like shows you it and you're not interfering with your gameplay. Be cool.
Yeah, I suppose so. I just think like the bottom screen is not utilized for a lot of Pokemon battles because like after you select your attack, it goes dark and you just watch the top screen. So I feel like popping open a Pokedex thing real quick wouldn't be too cumbersome, but then again, I wouldn't be using it. So I guess it really doesn't matter.
Honestly, in my opinion, I was coming at that from like I guess I just assumed that like the game wouldn't be able to handle it because of how shaky
true.
X and Y already handles.
Yeah, I can't play with the 3D on because it drops the frame rate too much.
It's weird, yeah. Like
I understand it's a huge game. I don't blame it. 3D is
it's
I'm
negligible.
not like married to 3D.
Yeah, it's good. It looks cool, but it's like not like essential to my experience.
Also, it like the 3D looks cool, but it doesn't look cool when you're dropping frames.
Yeah, that's very
It just
true.
makes it look worse, so I just don't use it.
It's like makes you kind of sick.
Yeah.
Anyway, final word, Kels.
I think you guys pretty much got it.
Anything you guys want to plug or talk about or get people to go look at? Anything you've been reading? Anything you saw? Anything neat that you want to for further reading?
Go get Troze.
Go get Troze.
Go
Yeah.
Troze.
You guys still having a lot of fun with Troze?
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys tried out the multiplayer mode. How did that go?
Oh, not too well.
It just doesn't seem like the game was made to be a multiplayer game. It seems like they just added that feature afterwards. It's like,
Do you think it would be funner if there was like 5 people like working together Monster Hunter style to like Troze the Pokemon?
I mean, that's
like,
what it is.
Yeah, and that's
But-
what it is, but it's still like easy enough of a game that you don't really need help.
Not only that,
playing a
but
level.
like it seems like the multiplayer thing actually threw me off because whenever like it happens in real time, and whenever they complete their combo, it goes and damages the Pokemon that you're Trozeing. And so like, let's say we're in a place where like there's a Psychic type Pokemon we're trying to catch, and I'm queuing up Scrafties for Dark type attacks, and I'm
Right.
getting the super good combo. Let's say I'm like 70 or something. Like my combo's stupid.
Right.
And then Kells just goes ahead and kills the Pokemon or Troze's it.
Later, man.
And then the next one is
the next
like-
one's like Fairy. And then I'm like, okay, well, thanks Kells for ruining the points we were just gonna get.
Right.
So I don't know, but I think it's supposed to be competitive. So maybe you're supposed to like attack.
Maybe you're supposed to
before.
like game it to like get through the whole level like
quicker.
like together, like you plan like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna build my combo up to here. I'm gonna try and get my combo to 40 with this dark type attack. You get rid of the dark type guy, and I'll hit the fairy guy that we're having trouble with right away.
Maybe I don't know. It just
It just
doesn't
seems like
seem
it would be cooler if the multiplayer was like a versus. Like,
Gotcha.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, you know, Puzzle Bobble, like you can do Puzzle Bobble versus each other and like it's super fun.
Or I don't know
Right.
if you guys have ever played Tetris Attack.
Dude.
on
Oh,
yeah.
Super Nintendo.
Dude,
That, but Troze would be sick.
there's a great Tetris game on 3DS too. Tetris Axis. It's pretty much exactly what you're talking about. It's really great, and you should get it. It's $10.
We played it for like some hours.
yeah,
Yeah, I heard about that, but Tetris Attack is a Yoshi themed game.
yeah.
Okay,
I know that
as
game
long as you
well.
know which one I'm talking about.
I love that game.
That game is
I love
incredible.
that game. Anyway, we got sidetracked. Check me out on Twitter at Facianea, FACIANEA. You can find Kelly on Twitter at PokeKels. Pretty easy to figure that one out.
You can find Jimmy on Twitter at Charybdis Rage, which is CHARYBDISRAGE.
That one doesn't translate super well to following on a podcast, but
It's in 50 episodes of the Dex at the end as under editor at
Yeah.
Charybdis Rage.
So-
So I can't change it now.
yeah, so check it out. But that has been this week's podcast. To answer your question, this week's question, if you could like design the next dragon type, what would it be? Send your answers to the Dexcast at gmail.com, and we will answer them. I've been Alex,
I'm Jimmy.
And I'm PokeKells.
and this has been the Dex Podcast. See you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.